So far we've been solving our sums, the quadratic form, quadratic sums by the factorization method. Now we'll see the quadratic formula which you can use to find the roots of a quadratic equation. So the general form of a quadratic equation, as we've seen earlier, is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. A is basically the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant term, right? So the quadratic formula is given by this. So the value of x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Right, now remember, any given quadratic equation has two roots. The first root will be minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a, and the second root will be minus b minus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Right, now how do we use this formula? Right, so for example, if I've got let's take an example, right? So for example, if I've got a quadratic equation like this, 4x squared plus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0, right? And so on comparing this equation with our standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. So the coefficient of x squared, which is a, is 4. So a is equal to 4. The coefficient of x is 5. So I can say b is equal to 5. And the constant term that we have is minus 6, mind you. So don't forget, you have to consider the signs. The coefficient of c, the value of c is minus 6. So c is equal to minus 6. Right? And now if I want to find the value of x, or the roots of this equation, all I need to do is substitute these values in this particular formula, right? So minus b will make it minus 5, right? Plus or minus, one root will be plus and the other root will be with minus, square root of b square minus 4ac. So b square is 5 square, minus 4, a is 4, and c is minus 6, right? This entire value divided by 2a, so 2 times a, which is 4, right? So if I solve this value, once by considering plus and once by considering minus, I will get the two roots of this given quadratic equation. In the next few sums, we will be using the quadratic formula to solve our problems. Now, you may be asking as to why do we need to use this quadratic formula when we got easy method like splitting the middle term already. The thing is that there will be certain questions, like we will see ahead, which can't be split that easily, right? Those are mainly questions where the square root value, the value under the square root, will not be a perfect square. So you get irrational numbers as your roots, and so those cannot be factorized as easily as easily as integer values or rational numbers. So that's the reason we'll be using this formula. So we have to make sure we remember this formula for our course, right?